I am ready to kick us off on episode 7. I am Shannon Interian, and this is...
Franco Interian.
Because I'm not allowed to introduce him, apparently.
That's right. I'm my own person. So, welcome to episode 7, my love. Are you excited?
Super.
I'm excited.
Super.
I'm excited. Why? Because I think we are the masters of this topic that we have this week.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, so this is episode 7, and we are going to focus on family travel, right? And we have a new segment.
Yes, we do. We have an expedition segment. So let's get into this nitty-gritty.
So we have family myths, expedition segment. We have some of the best places to go with families, and we have this wine from Napa Valley. Phenomenal episode, people. Make sure to continue watching, like, subscribe, comment. We will appreciate it. So why don't you kick us off? First segment.
All right. So...
It's myths of family travel.
I know. I was just...
You don't have my notes?
No, I do not have his notes, so I just want to let you know that ahead of time.
I always throw a little wrench into her scripts.
So we have 4 family myths, and the first one is one that we have a lot to say about, and that is...
Well, I throw the myths, and then you answer the myths.
Okay.
It's episode 7. We still haven't gotten this down yet, but family travel is too expensive, babe.
It can be. It definitely can be. So, and there's reasons why you can avoid it so that it's not as, what would you say? Expensive. But yes, it definitely can be. So we are a blended family. And even though we book things in a year in advance, and I know that seems crazy, but we do, we tend to notice that when we travel that our food expenses come out to be almost the same price as flying in a hotel, because we are all eaters, and our children especially just love to eat. So we've noticed that it does tend to come out almost the same. Yeah,
it's incredible. And I think one of the solutions there for that, babe, usually it's all inclusives, right? So I think cruises are great. You see the notes? You didn't get the notes? The all inclusives. Cruises, right, babe? Cruises are good for that.
Cruises are good because they have the buffet, resorts. Usually in the Caribbean, they have all the all-inclusive and stuff. So that's fun because the kids can eat at whatever they want, whenever they want, whenever they want to
eat. Yeah, that's definitely a way to go.
Not to mention drinks are all-inclusive.
Yes, which you're going to need it.
With kids.
Well, that's a good segue to my second myth. Family travel is stressful.
Spit it out.
I'm getting trauma. I'm getting
having PTSD.
That family travel is too stressful. I think it can be. I'm not gonna lie, but I think pre-planning is the key.
100%. So when I think of stress, I think of all sorts of stuff. I've traveled with a 6-month-old, and we've traveled now all the way up to 21. And it doesn't matter what age group, there's always different stresses that come along with the different ages. So I've traveled internationally with a 6-month-old. Being on the plane is stressful, not to mention everybody around you. And what they're thinking of you, it makes it even more stressful. And the time schedule being a little bit different, especially going to Europe or to other countries, you're going now 6 hours ahead or even behind. So getting those kids on that sleep schedule will help a little bit better before you leave on that trip. And then an age group. So we've noticed with teenagers, we're thinking, oh my God, we're going to go here. We're going to go skiing. Yay. And their response is like,
they're
like, I don't want to travel.
Yeah, it's like if they're reading a book like Moby Dick or something.
Like, why do we have to go anywhere?
I don't understand.
So we've seen that. And then obviously this summer was a little stressful. Our oldest, when we were in Italy, left over to Portugal, and she was flying solo in another country to another country. Yeah. So I'm sure she was having a blast, but we were, tracking her and following her. So that's a little stressful. But it doesn't matter what age, there's always going to be issues that arise. So I think, yes, traveling with kids is very stressful.
Wow. So you agree with that myth?
100%. You're going to tell me there's one part of it?
It is, but I think if you pre-plan and you get everything kind of coordinated, it should be at least alleviate the stress.
Yeah, no, definitely pre-planning is the key. And I do want to say this, we are a blended family. So it's a mine, his, and our situation. We've been dealing with this for 16 years. And so we plan a year in advance, and it has nothing to do with the fact of, one, we like to pay for the trip before we leave. So that takes off a huge stress load. But two, we're dealing with our schedule. We're dealing with my daughter's and her family's schedule, and then his daughter's family schedule. So now we're dealing with 3 different schedules to make our schedule work. So we would often get from our children's other parents saying, "Are you kidding me? I don't even know what I'm doing in a year in advance. Why do you plan a year?" And they would put pressure on us, but not realizing, and it's not just your schedule, it's also the other parent's schedule. And we're just trying to make it all work and gel and to make it right for our family. So yes, that part is super stressful. Like that's a lot. And I'm sure we're not the only family that's out there.
Yeah. So, I think if you plan pace and just kind of even include the kids in the planning phase, I think that helps. That helps.
Yeah.
This next one is an interesting one, and I think there's some data to kind of shock you, I think, obviously on my notes.
I don't have that data.
You don't have
I just have the myth.
You have the myth, not the data.
Go for it.
Kids are not going to remember this trip. Like, kids don't remember the trips that you take them in.
I say a good age where kids will start really truly remembering is about 7, 8 years old and up. 10 is the golden age. But before that, no. I mean, when I see all these people spending so much money and trying to do all these travels with their kids, I think it's great. But if you really want them to be immersed and experience the experience that you're experiencing, I think 7 and up is an ideal age. That's just my experience.
Doing my research of this topic, there's actually studies that have shown that even at toddler age creates an emotional connection.
Okay.
So maybe they don't remember, but there is an emotional connection to that trip.
I can see
to that travel.
I believe that.
I think that's pretty interesting, even as a toddler.
Yeah, I mean, imagine they wake up and sleep in the same spot. So if you're waking up in a foreign hotel and place in different languages, I'm sure their brain is absorbing all of these different things.
Yeah.
So I agree. I can see that. I can.
Yeah, so don't make it stressful, so that way their emotional connection is not stressed when it comes to travel. Okay, so last but not least, theme parks are the only way to travel with families.
No, absolutely not. I
agree with you on that.
I think everywhere in the world you should be traveling with your children.
Yeah, 100%. I think even though it was in an RV, and I think that's the last time I'll do that, but I think, believe it or not, that road trip with the kids was phenomenal.
One day I feel secure enough to share those videos with you guys.
Well, I think we should do an episode just on RV road tripping, things you need to know.
I'm just happy I didn't end up on Dateline ID. I was very stressed on that trip.
She obviously had the different experience, because I thought it was great. We bonded, with the kids. It was like really,
it was wonderful.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week with children.
It's not a vacation. Close. You're cleaning the RV, the dust, the cooking, the smell.
The RV portion of it, but the road trip portion of it, of like just the adventure of going on the road is what I'm focused on. I'm not talking about like.
Are we talking about stress?
Yeah, you see, I'm stressed even talking about it. But yes, probably bad example. But yes, go to national parks, go do road trips with them, go to cultural cities like Italy, like Rome, like Japan,
South America, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Do it.
I think it's not just Mickey Mouse and Universal Studios. So
there you go.
I totally agree with you on that one. So I think our quick travel tip. Is there any stats you got there in your notes?
No, I don't have any stats.
You don't have any stats. Okay,
you have the better notes.
But I'll take care of this. I'll take care of this one. So. So a few travel tips that we have for you guys, especially for families, is book direct flights when possible.
Always, but not just with families. I think that's a great unless you have lots of time for a layover, you should always book direct. And one of the reasons why with family, if you're with a large group, imagine you have a delay, and this has happened to me many years ago. We were with a large group flying to Ireland. Our connecting flight was delayed. We missed our connecting flight to Shannon Airport, and we had to now fly into Dublin, but we were staying on the other side of Ireland, and I was with a 6-month-old. So you don't want those connecting flights, and if you do, you really want to space them out. I know it sucks to have an extra couple hours left over in an airport, but you also want that time to be able to have that leeway of being able to get on the next plane if you were to be delayed. So I think that's going to help huge when it comes to stress and large families.
100%. And on that note, pre-book popular destinations and travel insurance. Those are 2 tips. Especially travel insurance. I think that to me it's not a lot of money, and it's a whole lot of headaches eliminated.
So you can do, if you're a family that's like us that travels all the time, you can actually get a yearly plan for travel insurance. However, you can do just for your trip. So it starts the day that you buy it. So anything were to arise before your trip, you can get all of your money back depending on the coverage that you get. A lot of times I've had suggested like travel insurance to families, and they'll tell me, oh, but I have an American Express, or I have this, and or I have insurance that does international. However, a lot of it does not cover injuries or hospitalization or lost luggage, delayed flights. So if it's an extra $200 on your $20,000 trip that you just spent, I don't understand why you wouldn't want. It's just a good investment to get all your money back, especially if you're traveling with a large family. Yeah. So I do highly suggest.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And then lastly, I think, pick a destination that's walkable, has walkable downtowns. Even though I think that tip is great if you're going to go to these cultural cities. But if you're going to go, to, let's say, these excursion destinations, which we'll talk about in segment 4, but it's good to go to, again, if you're going to these cultural cities, go to a walkable downtown because it's stress relieving, right? Like if you have an older traveler with you, they're close to the hotel, or if the kids get tired, you're close to the hotel in the middle of the action. So it's not a stressful situation to get back to if you need to kind of, have the family relax, right?
So I do like to chime in. A lot of times I'll have families that are traveling and they're like, oh, I don't care to spend the money to be in the center of the town. I can go a little bit less right outside the outskirts, and I think that's great. You want to save money, but in the long run, you're not, because what's happening is that now you have to pay for transportation to get into the center of town, and especially places like Europe where they will not put more than 4 people in a cab. So if you are a family of 5, like we are, and traveling with more, now you're separating the family, especially if you have small children. It's not fun, and going into different cabs, and so if you're going to spend that money on transportation to get in and out of town, it doesn't make any sense to just get and splurge and put that money towards a hotel that's in the center. Not to mention, let's say you have small children and one of them gets tired. One parent could go really quickly back to the room. We have elderly people traveling. They can just walk right back to the hotel and rest, and they don't have to jump into a cab and or a train or anything to get out of town for that hotel. So I do suggest that when you're traveling with family.
So there you go. There you go, everyone. We have busted those myths of traveling with family. If you guys love what you're seeing, please follow, like, comment, subscribe, do everything humanly possible.
But also, too, I would like to hear if you have a myth that maybe you would like to share that you believed when it comes to traveling. I would like to hear your myth.
100%.
So let's get some feedback.
There you go. There you go, audience engager.
You like that?
I love it.
It's all about you guys.
Okay, so that's segment 1. Thank you, everyone. Now, our second segment. Let's take a little wine break.
Yeah, so you can talk about the wine, but I do want to show how beautiful this bottle is. Close to the camera. It's very vintage, elegant. It's a really nice label. So why don't you share a little bit about this wine? It's called Caymus.
Yeah, so it's Caymus Vineyards Cab from 2022. It is family operated, owned and operated, which is fantastic. And in that label that my wife loves so much, I don't know if you guys could see it, but it's the family's there in the label, which is great. And there's one gentleman that looks like the guy from Yellowstone. What's the
Who? Kevin Costner?
No, the other one.
The hot one?
The
Rip.
Yeah, he looks like Rip.
I want some Rip.
So great family, great wine, and this wine is great with like a steak, hard cheese.
It's a great wine.
And sunsets.
Ay, romántica.
Romantico.
Romantico.
Yeah. So what's great if you are going to travel to it is in Napa Valley. This vineyard, which is great because you could make like a long weekend out of it,
or a Napa trip.
Yeah,
it's like a girls' trip, long weekend, or just even with the spouse, get in a limo,
100%.
Have them drive you from town to town.
Yes,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna probably do a little deep dive into that wine trips.
And maybe we should do that.
Yeah, we should.
I think it's a good idea.
It is a good idea, and I'll have a lot of notes on it. So this wine, just so you know, if you are going to take a trip to Napa, they're open daily for tastings, which is fantastic. Reservations highly recommended because they are very popular because they have intimate seated tastings.
I love that.
So if you have a group, it's fantastic. You could actually have that intimacy there, and they've been doing or at this since 1972, by the way. So they're one of the oldest vineyards there in Napa.
53 years?
53 years. And it's easy to pair, like I said, for a great weekend in Napa.
I love that.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Segment 2. Please take a look at our descriptions. You'll have a link to the winery, and you'll have a link to where maybe you could purchase this wine.
I would love to know if you guys have had some Caymus, some more interaction. Yes,
audience engager.
And I want to talk about this really quick. This is our wine aggregator.
Is it aggregator?
Oh my gosh.
Irrigator?
Irrigator.
Irrigate? Is it an
irrigator? Isn't it pretty?
It's so nice. It kind of stresses me out though.
Oh no.
Because it looks like it's going to fall over.
Talk about stress.
Yeah.
Oh, just keep drinking. It won't stress you out.
That's true. So there you go. Segment 2, everyone. Get your agitator. And go visit Caymus Vineyards for your intimate wine tasting.
All right, let's head on over to segment 3, the top 5 family destinations.
Yes. Okay, so everyone's going to probably know this first one. Okay?
Orlando. All right. So, yeah, Orlando's great. I also like to share that we love Orlando. It's not just for kids. So I think that is really cool. I also want to point this out. Everyone just seems to focus on Orlando, but in 1 hour in each direction, whether you go west or east, you have the Kennedy Space Center, which is phenomenal if you've never gone, especially being educational, and you may want to plan your trip around a little rocket launch, or
you might see Katy Perry.
I forgot about that. And then if you go west from Orlando, you head on over to Tampa and you have Busch Gardens. So these are just a great theme parks. So I just think that they're great for family, for everybody. All multi-generational. So
I love going to Orlando because I feel like a kid.
It's fun.
Yeah, I feel like a kid again.
Really
so
cool.
The next one is, I think, one of our personal favorites, Costa Rica.
Yes. So we did a family trip for Costa Rica. Our children still talk about it. Our youngest was about 8 and the middle one was 12. It was in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah.
We went there. We had gone there previously. It's amazing. When our whole entire trip, when we went, we could not stop talking about how we could not wait to bring the kids back. So we did. And we went because it was pre-pandemic. Everything's outside. We had the best time. Our little one has not stopped talking about it. So she was at that perfect age. We should put the picture of her there by the volcano. Yeah. And she's not stopped talking about the trip. But what was wonderful, there's surfing lessons. You can do cooking, not to mention nocturnal, a tour that we got to see.
And like in like junk or like rainforest.
In the rainforest. It was raining, and so we had to put in our gear, and we went with this guy. It was like our own tour. It was so cool. We got to see tarantulas, bats, as well as toucans.
And he did native calls. Like
he did. That's right. Well,
he did like some weird native calls.
Did that, but he did do that. Some other stuff, not that. And it was just great. It was just sloths. I mean, and we got to do all different parts of Costa Rica. So I think for every age, that's definitely a great multi-generational.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
We hiked.
And not only it's affordable.
The food is great.
The people are just phenomenal. Like, I love it. I love Costa Rica. Next one is Tokyo.
Yes. So this is a big trip that we are planning for our children. Not to mention it's one of the safest places to go.
And cleanest.
Clean food. There's so much to do. But it just says Tokyo, but I think all of Japan. I don't want to just specifically say Tokyo because there's Kyoto and all sorts of places that...
Yeah, and I want to do my samurai training in Japan. So that's multi-generational. No? Okay, so next one is London, England. Come on, Poppy.
So
tell me about London.
So if your kids are like our kids and they love New York, I think London is the place to go. I love London. So you have your Broadway shows just like you have over in New York. But what makes this place even more amazing is that now with the amazing Harry Potter, you get to do all these different tours. So that's pretty cool. So you have the studio and you can actually venture out of London and see the different places that they filmed. Not to mention, it is walkable, the food, which is a great, amazing Indian food, and museums. So I love London.
And it's regal, so
it's easy to get to. There's a lot of direct flights from the U.S. headed over to London. So that's a great place to go.
And, I'm going to throw in a little myth here. Everybody thinks London is extremely expensive.
Well, it is if you're not from Miami.
Well, if you're from New York, Miami, or maybe Los Angeles... It's
the same price.
It's about the same. So, it depends where you're at. Now, if you're more like in,
the Midwest.
The Midwest or Georgia or Texas where, you guys actually have a great, cost of living, it could be expensive. But if you're in a major metropolitan like East Coast and West Coast city,
it's the same price.
It's the same price.
Yes.
So it's not that bad. And then last but not least, this is our definitely bucket list.
Well, mine for sure.
Yeah, well, whatever's yours is mine. And vice versa.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
So Banff, Canada. So I've been dying to get there. Lots of hiking, beautiful, picturesque. They have winter sports, but not just winter. I do suggest to go during the fall as well. So I'm dying to get there. So I can see if your kids are adventurous like ours, that's a great place to go.
All right. So you have some stats. I know that.
I do.
From your notes. Okay.
All right.
And I'll throw a tip. How about that? You throw a stat, I throw a tip.
Sure.
Okay.
So
hit us up.
All right. 72% of parents are now Praetor.
So back to the Caymus wine. Fantastic.
Prioritize educational value when choosing.
You want to repeat that again?
Okay.
It's a little scattered.
72% of parents Praetor.
They Praetor.
72% of parents make sure that their trip is educational.
So you're prioritizing when you make sure, right?
Yes.
So 72% of parents prioritize
educational value when choosing destinations. So I think that's wonderful, especially because I'm a teacher and I think it's great. And you want your kids to learn something when they're there, especially if you're pulling them out of school. Yeah. So I think it's great that that parents do that. So kudos. I want that number to be even higher.
Yes.
3 in 4 travelers.
Okay, so I won't throw a tip. So you just
so
finish
no,
the stats.
do your tip.
Finish
do
the
your tip.
stats.
Oh my gosh.
Finish the stats.
Do your tip. I don't have your notes.
Okay, so okay. You know what? How about this?
Go, give me the tip.
You know what? It's better if you just finish with the stats.
3 and 4 travelers say they want nature-focused getaways. I have to say,
oh my gosh.
I think after the pandemic, everybody was all about the nature.
Agreed.
And then this one I love. It's the multi-generational travel is up 60% post-pandemic. So I have to agree with this. We really started traveling, especially with our in-laws, after the pandemic. I think a lot of people lost sight of what was important, and really being stuck inside their house and having this world out there that we're not seeing, I think really scared people. So I think it's great. So get your parents and if you're
kids
and grandkids and get them out there and travel all together. I think that's great. Not to mention, I like to say, if you're doing a multi-generational trip and the grandparents don't feel like going out that night, you leave the children home with the grandparents as your two just kind of escape.
Yeah.
So great.
That's a great tip.
Cheap, babysitter.
I concur. So there you go. Segment 3 in the books.
Yep.
Thank you for that and
You're
for your
welcome.
tips that I didn't have on my notes. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to introduce you to
Dorian Expeditions.
Dorian Expeditions. That is a segment of Dorian Destinations, a sub-sector of Dorian Destinations where we are focused on adventure travel, expedition travel.
Hiking, adventure.
Yes. So if Dorian Destinations focuses on luxury travel and food and wine, and it's like the sophisticated part of James Bond travel, Dorian Expeditions is the...
I think it's James Bond too. He does some adventure.
Not like Indiana Jones.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You see, now you're getting it?
I got it. I totally get it.
Now you're getting it in segment 4, which is scaring me. But okay, and episode 7. So Dorian Expeditions, that's what we focus on. So yes, you can see the Arctic Circle. Yes, you can see Antarctica. Yes, you can see Galapagos. Yes, you could do the safari. The Amazon. That is what Dorian Expeditions is. So I kind of wanted to just give you that insight of why we created this segment, because that is a very important part of our business, is expeditions and adventures. So,
yes. So there's top 5 places that we want to talk.
Yes.
So the first one is, you want to say it?
It's the Arctic Circle.
Yep.
In Norway. Northern Lights, people. Like just seeing the nature.
It's guaranteed Northern Lights. And I will say this, that there are expeditions. And I just want to give a really quick about expeditions. When you say expeditions, a lot of people are not understanding. These are ships that are smaller and more diesel. They even have a hybrid engine, but they are equipped to go into these extreme temperatures. We're talking about sub-zero temperatures. So we're going to the Arctic Circle. And there's only maybe, some ships have 200 people to 500, and that is it. It's not like your typical cruise of 5,000 people.
Correct.
These are very specialized boats that go to these areas. So,
but it doesn't take away the luxury, though.
No, it does not take away the luxury. They're absolutely stunning. I'm talking about mid-century decor, Scandinavian decor, very beautiful boats. Everything is included. Yes, they're high in the price, but you're getting the gear to go into these 2 different locations, whereas the Arctic and the Antarctica expeditions, you're having the gear because it's absolutely freezing.
And most of them, you keep that gear.
You do,
Which, if you think about it, anybody who's done like a skiing vacation in Colorado or anywhere, you know that winter gear is
expensive,
it's
especially
pretty high price.
And children and boots
so
that you wear one time and then that's it.
Exactly. So not only is everything included, your expeditions, your food, your drink, your everything, but the gear that in some cases, in most cases, you're able to take back home. So that's fantastic, I think. So
these expeditions, especially the one that goes to the Arctic Circle, some of them even offer that if you don't see Northern Lights, they will refund you back like $1,500 back
per person
back to your expedition, so that you can go on to another expedition and guaranteed see the Northern Lights. The Arctic cruise, which is amazing, that you get to see icebergs, polar bears, and not to mention penguins. Antarctica. But that is the Antarctic cruise.
Yeah, but you said
but you're going to Antarctica.
But you said Arctic.
And not to mention, you get to see penguins.
Yes.
So that's amazing.
And you get to camp out. Like that's
an option. And weather permitting. Some of them have helicopters too.
Yeah, helicopters, submarines that you could go underneath and see the icebergs underneath. It's phenomenal. Like, honestly, if you want to talk about remembering a trip, like that's
amazing.
That is something that you know very few. And going back to the first one, the Arctic Circle expedition, it's not only Norway, it's Iceland and Greenland. There's some areas there that they will take you that only about 500 people a year get to see. So just
that's nothing.
So it's very remote and very, very exclusive.
Scientists are on board, so this is very educational. Not just for kids. I know he would love to be able to talk to these scientists, and you get to talk about the icebergs, the animals that are there. And I just think that's truly amazing. They're very environmental friendly, so there's no plastic on board. You get your bottle to reuse while you're there. You get to talk about all of the different, what do you call funding that they do to give back to those areas that are untouched and that need a lot of love.
Yeah, like you're traveling with these scientists, which is amazing. So you get to kind of take a look at it. And I think the next one is we're getting out of the cold and into the sweats. The Amazon rainforest trek in Peru. Again, Peru, first of all, is one of the most amazing countries when it comes to history, when it comes to cuisine. They are up there with Italy and France in terms of the world's best cuisine. So not only can you eat well, but then you could go on this amazing adventure through the Amazon rainforest, which, again, you could really enjoy those eco lodges that they have. It's a river experience, so you're definitely going in the heart of the Amazon.
And again, on the Amazon River.
Yeah. So that is that's pretty amazing. I think. And again, the Peruvians, the people, it's amazing.
You could do the overall Eco Lodge. All of these are what I love about them. They're very, 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 very environmental friendly. Mm-hmm. So the last two is all about in the heat as well, but also horseback and hiking. We have number 4, which is Mongolia Horseback Expedition. So they have the yurts, the nomadic culture. That's pretty amazing. So that's awesome. I've never, I never thought when people think Mongolia, I don't think they think about these expeditions. But it is available. Not to mention, it is cost effective. And our last one
is hiking the Silk Road. And if anybody who loves history understands how important that Silk Road is to just civilization, it's
the trades back in the day.
There's so much history there.
Spices, silk.
Yeah, so I definitely. It's just a mountainous pass. It's phenomenal. It's something that we'd highly recommend because it's a bunch of history involved with just the land and the ecology of it all. So
I just love the history about it.
Yeah,
to me that's amazing.
So yeah, we're kind of nerds about that, but your kids and your family will love it. Because again, it's educational and it's pretty mind blowing.
Mind blowing.
You want to give your facts?
Let's give the facts. So, adventure travel has grown 65% since 2022, which is kind of saying what I just said. After COVID, that's where all of this has really explored and expanded. So I think that's everyone wants to explore, and it has expanded.
Yeah, and it's exploded, I think is what you term.
Okay, that sounds good too.
Okay, but 65% since 2022, that's pretty amazing. I think there's an appetite there for people to see not just your typical tourist destination. They want to see something magical and
something different.
Yeah, and we offer that, people. We could really help you make that dream come true, and with 24-hour, 7 days a week concierge service where anything goes wrong or you need an update or you just need someone to talk to because we're funny, we're there for you.
And then 35 to 60, which is the age, is the fastest growing expedition demographic. And I have to agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. And we're kind of in the middle of that age group. And sadly...
Speak for yourself.
Whatever. And I could tell you that we were talking to our very close friend recently is that, yes, we're in an age where we know that, our strength and our abilities, we want to take advantage of it and we want to go hiking. We want to do these adventures.
Before we're less mobile. Although I hope to continue to do this for the next 30, 40 years.
But if you start now, then you'll be able to do it when you're later, which is fantastic.
And then this It says that the combo of wellness and adventure is now top combo for 2025. Wellness is not as big as I'd like for it to be, but I think it's great. If you were to do an adventure trip, and you're there hiking and doing all of these things, you do want the time to have for the sauna, for meditation, and really giving back to yourself. So I think that is a full 360 circle, and they should be in hand together.
Well, the Antarctica
the expedition.
The expedition that we just kind of learned about recently, they have a sauna, which is phenomenal, with just like
an open glass
view of the glaciers, which is like,
so while you'll
be sweating while you look at sub-zero temperature.
So something that you're able to do when you are in the Antarctica expedition is that you get to do the polar plunge. So while you're at these sub-zero degrees, you can strip down into your bathing suit, jump in the water, and then jump right out, and then you can head on over to that spa. So that's something that is definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah. I mean, I want to do it, but I just, every time I think about those situations, I think of George Costanza. Shrinkage. Anyways, so there you go. There you have it.
So which is on your bucket list? I would love to hear what you have to say on what you love that.
Yes.
You love that it's all about them.
I love that you're becoming an audience engager.
I would love for you guys to tag us on your expedition photos.
Yes.
So let's go. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's keep exploring.
I love it.
Cheers.
Cheers. There you go. Episode 7 in the books, hopefully. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let us know.
They don't understand the hopefully.
Well, it's an inside joke. It's an inside joke. So thank you, everyone, for listening. If you came all this way to listen to us, we appreciate it. And we're here for you to make your bucket list travels a reality. So please
reach out. Let's go. Out. Let's plan.
Let's talk. Let's chat.
All right. Let's go. Let's do this.
All right.
All right. Bye,
Cheers.
guys.
Did you stop it?
I don't know. How do you stop it?
Do you see what that little red thing is?
No.